Hey everyone, welcome back to another fantastic Friday with Dannphan. How's everybody doing? Hopefully everyone's been having a fairly good week. We had 2 videos uploaded this week. That's something, huh? Of course, I didn't get to do the drawing with Dannphan stream, but you know, it's a sacrifice you kind of have to make sometimes. At least we can keep up to the best of our ability with the Fridays with Dannphan, and of course it is Good Friday. So, woo! It's extra blessed on this day, you know? So, how's everybody doing? Should we just come right out and talk about how, yes, Reaper is still funding on Indiegogo. Can't forget about Reaper. We're at 69%. Nice. And still funding for another 17 days. So, if you have not already, please do consider checking out Reaper Book 1, a new comic series that I'm hoping to kickstart with this first book. We'll see how much we get by with it, you know? Obviously, I guess maybe I should go over the controversy with Reaper Book 1. In quotes, I'm being facetious. But yes, for whatever reason, it is like shadow banned on Indiegogo. It does not appear in the comics section, along with other comics, I've been told, that just like don't show up in the comics section, despite the fact that, yes, it is still funding, and there's nothing about this campaign that would make Indiegogo want to censor it per se. There's not a super big amount of gore or sex or anything like that. It's fairly tame. I would probably rate it a like 14 plus, you know, teen, kind of older teen type of comic series. But for whatever reason, you know, you have to have a direct link to know that it exists, or you have to just search it on Indiegogo. But people who are browsing the Indiegogo page will more likely than not find it, which is unfortunate, but sometimes it's just kind of how it goes, you know? It's very unfortunate. So we've been struggling a little bit with hitting that goal. Would you let a 12-year-old read Reaper? I was thinking about getting another copy for my niece. Yeah. It's kinda, well, look, it's not... I like to think of it as kind of being like how most shonen manga is, with its levels of gore and whatnot. Because it's over the top or anything, but there is like a good bit of beheading going on and blood and whatnot, so maybe not the best for a literal child, you know? I would say teens are fine, because I'm sure that a lot of teens out there are kind of looking for maybe more gory stuff. But, I don't know, it gets a little bit sketchy when we go 13 and under. Depends on the kid, maybe. Maybe. I mean, at the end of the day, I usually leave things up to the parents, which is who actually gets the say-so at the end of the day, right? But Indiegogo Reaper. UK, if made a difference. Well, let me show you what I mean. You go to the comic section. This is where people browse what comics are being funded on Indiegogo, and normally they will post recent campaigns up at the top page, or campaigns that are almost funded, or campaigns that are funding very well, etc., etc. But if you scroll through this page, you can scroll through it like infinitely, essentially, and you will start seeing ended campaigns and stuff like that kind of shouldn't even appear, honestly. But you'll find that Reaper does not show up on this page at all. Like, no matter how often you hit show more, show more, show more, it'll just never show up. And, you know, obviously that's a shame, because some people do find comics that are being funded on Indiegogo through browsing through the comic section. That's certainly how I've done a lot of my indie comics shopping in the past. But yeah, I know somebody who was like, oh, I'll contact Indiegogo support for you and see if we can get this straightened out. And they did that, and obviously they never got back to them. So it kind of seems like they don't care, or I don't know if I would even say that it's intentional, because why? You know? What did I do to Indiegogo? I've done like all my campaigns on Indiegogo in the past. But, you know, my niece's parents let her on TikTok, so I don't trust their judgment. Fair. There's a lot of cancer on TikTok. But yeah. So what is new in the news that I should be talking about? Usually I kind of let chat dictate what the topics of these Friday with Dannphan streams should be. So if there's anything that you'd like to hear my take on, as far as comics news and other things, by all means, post in the chat. I'll do my best to give my take on whatever topics happened recently. Although I don't really think too much happened recently. X-Men 97, people were talking about that. Apparently they're saying that it's okay. Sure. I mean, I don't really care. I mean, like, the original X-Men series was great, right? It's kind of hard to really match the quality of what the original had, and I'm just kind of not looking for any new reboots. It's just not something that I'm actively searching for at the moment, for sure. Apparently they're shipping Magneto and Rogue, which is just fucking weird in my opinion. Yes, I know it was a thing in the comics too, but there's a lot of different writers who had very different opinions on what the characters do and how they act and who they should fuck. So I don't care. I found it weird no matter what. No matter what, it's weird. There you go. Accuracy is not always the only problem, you know? I also hear reviews coming out for the Avatar live action on Netflix. And surprise, surprise, people are saying it's not as good as the original. Really? I just didn't see that one coming. No, I mean, the writing certainly sounds pretty bad. It's not like... It doesn't sound like it's in-your-face, social justice-y type bad, but it sounds just like it was written by some teenagers. There's this one super repetitive line in the live-action Avatar series that I saw making rounds on YouTube that was pretty funny. I forget what the exact line was, but it's like a really bad line, right? I think it was something like, we're surrounded on all three sides. No, it was even more complicated than that. But basically, they say the same thing like 3 times in one sentence, just in different ways. It's like, you to follow up, we're surrounded, by also pointing out like all directions we're surrounded. It's like, yes, that's what surrounded means. It's just over-explaining, to say the least. But I can't remember what the exact line was. I'm sure that's, you probably saw that making its rounds on YouTube or iFunny or wherever you find your memes. But that is pretty funny. Yes. Hey, Gabe the Gen. Welcome to chat. I saw that the Communist Party of Japan is reporting fan service manga to the UN. Yeah, that is pretty ironic, isn't it? Considering, communist history behind sexuality and the sexual revolution and everything of that nature, to then, I guess when you go extreme on something, you end up going full circle on some other things. And I think that's a good example of it. But yes, so there you have it. Communist Party trying to get rid of sexy anime girls. I mean, should we really take anything the Communist Party says seriously? I would say no, in general. I don't think they're gonna get really far with that. I almost wonder if they're trying to appeal to a specific crowd by taking those stances. Like if they're trying to like appeal to more conservatives to like try to convert them. I don't know. I don't know what their angle is, but it's not going to work out. Not recent, but a live reaction to the Yaira trailer would be fun. That was, is that a Rippaverse thing? I think I saw that somewhere. Yeah, it's kind of weird going with a live action trailer, but I guess if that's what you want to go for, sure. I'm more of an animation fan myself, but no, I get it. Animation is expensive, Sure, it was a comic book thing, but I can't recall Rogue and Magneto getting together in the animated series when I first saw it as a kid in the 90s. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, because it's fucking weird. Because it's weird. Everyone knows it's weird. Yeah, Yaira trailer kind of sucked, but the comic might be good. Who knows? Who knows? Commies are going to stop a major source of revenue for Japan. Doubt they'll make it. Yeah, that's an interesting angle to see it from. You haven't got a PS5, right? No PS5. I have seen some gameplay of the Stellar Blade, though. I heard about the controversy over that. Not that I would be like super interested in it, but like the Yaira design, she very attractive. Well, sometimes that's all you need. Sometimes the main thing that you need in life is people who look attractive, who you can aspire to be, role models, I suppose, in a sense. Good people, attractive people, charming people, that you're like, yes, one day I will work to be that person. If I just worked really hard, It's part of the reason why Shonen, of course, sells so gosh darn well. But yeah, did anything else happen? I think it's been mostly quiet. Unless you want to talk about like the extra depressing news, but I'm not super into talking about the over the top depressing things that happen in the news. I'm more so interested in the comic and nerd culture type stuff myself. And it is difficult maintaining a YouTube channel that stays focused on that type of stuff, at least these days, I've noticed that it's becoming more difficult. I can't really pinpoint and tell you exactly why. Something about how YouTube changes over the years. They kind of push these niche type of categories to underneath all the rubble, you know? Make these types of topics more difficult to find in exchange for something that has, like a lot of the videos talking about comics and nerd culture stuff usually only get popular when they have the subcategory of stuff like politics in there, or fucking they're a big giant company or something like that. But it's very difficult to make something neutral and still just talk about comics and nerd stuff. Just because of how YouTube organizes things. They really want you... they really want some other subcategory for you to talk about instead of a niche category outside of what they want to push. Like, I've seen so many political videos on YouTube go super viral. Haven't seen too many comic-based videos go super viral. Although, I mean, other people have certainly made it work. They've certainly had their highs and lows. And there's also people that I see that were really high on the peak of their YouTube career talking about comics and nerd culture. And then I go back to look at their channel to see how they're doing now, and it's super mediocre. Like kind of my level in views, despite me having like a very small percentage of their subscribers. And that's not good. That's not good. I don't know what the heck YouTube has been doing, but something's not really working out. You know what I mean? And with that in mind, you know, I used to recommend when I was at like the peak of YouTube, right? Because now I've kind of also faded into obscurity, even though I am still posting. A lot of people who are doing these comic YouTube channels, they're not posting anymore. Or they're posting about topics that have absolutely nothing to do with comics. Either way, you know, however, they've continued. When I was at peak YouTube level, where I would get like consistently good views, or was getting consistently better and better views, rather than the downslide that I've currently been going on, I would recommend other people who do comics to go do YouTube. Because I thought, man, YouTube has a lot of potential of really, like, showcasing yourself and your work and getting word out there that you exist, you know? It's served really well as a great social media platform. And now, I don't know if I would recommend YouTube, just because of this big downslide that I see, not just with me, I've seen it with other people. And that's the scary part, you know? Because if it was just me, then I'd be like, oh, okay, so clearly there's something I need to fix here. But I don't really have a good frame of reference with who I should be trying to mimic in order to get any sort of sudden success back. I mean, should I start doing the political subcategory while talking about comics? I don't really want to. Not at least all the time. You just need more jump scares? Yeah, that's what it is. I'm no good at jump scares, but yeah, maybe that's what it is. Do you think if I live react to the Yara or however you pronounce it trailer, do you think I'll get copyright struck if I show the video? Like, is Eric July super stingy with that stuff? Because I wouldn't really mind reacting to it since I have not actually seen it. But, it'd be a pain in the ass to get copyright struck just from live reacting to another indie creator's trailer. You know what I mean? I think you'll be fine. Yeah, I could give it a shot. Yeah. Actually, let me search it on YouTube. I assume he also has it on his website, but comic trailer. Okay. Huh. Okay. I guess share this tab. I doubt Eric July is stingy. Well, I sure hope not. You'd be surprised, man. Good Ripperverse Studios. Oh, they're doing like the Marvel thing, but like... Alright. Is the volume on? Oh, it's just like super low. Twisted Twins. New York City.
This is gonna be tough.
Uh-huh.
I've trained my body to do things that people like me shouldn't be able to do.
Is that Eric July talking? Did he do the voiceover himself? Alright.
But unfortunately for me, blind ain't one of them.
Don't follow me!
Okay, I got you. So, yeah. That's a little bit more... Already, just seeing the first couple seconds of the video, already it seems like they put a lot more budget into the live-action trailer than I was expecting, to be honest. You wouldn't get that impression from the thumbnail. The thumbnail doesn't actually look very good. The thumbnail looks very, like, YouTube fan film type thing, and, you know, I guess it does seem like it's a lot more of a better production. I mean, they fucking smashed a car, so what did they actually have like a stunt crew on board, or you know, like what was going on there? I mean, you know, I'll give credit where it's due. It's already a little bit better than I thought it was gonna be. A little bit less cringe.
Biologist and archaeologist who we feel is going to be an undeniable asset here at Projexis. Won't you please
Look at those
join me
fucking
in welcoming
curls.
her to our team? Dr. Sally Rodell.
Adopt or die.
You see? You can tell she's smart because she has glasses and a suit on. Oh man, this is so 90s feeling. Or I guess it even goes back way before the 90s too, but sure.
Adopt or die.
Adapt or die.
Secure the area till Off-Book can arrive.
It is the truest law of the earth. Very few things have the ability to survive the test of time. Though we may not be around to see them to their fullest fruition, what we struggle to create now will be the triumphant echoes from the past.
I gotta say that whatever accent they're going for there, kinda hard to understand. That's a little bit difficult for me. It's adopt or die. Yeah, it's very, you know, I kind of leaning in there like, what's what is she trying to say? It's whatever. Oh, look at this hooded.
Thanks for the heads up.
Oh, look at that.
I was here.
That did not look like good walking, I gotta say. If you're trying to do like the super tough girl type walk, that was like very, like, what is this? It's a little bit over the top there, you know? Even with the arm swinging and everything.
I lived. I am still here. I'm on you.
Okay.
Sweet dreams, children.
Would she just fucking break her head off? That head is gone. That is not attached to a body anymore. That was way too jarring, the way that it just... I mean, like, obviously it's a camera that you're just flipping over, but it doesn't hold the weight of being attached to a head, so it kind of just looks like that head is off the body. Zombie? If it's a zombie, that certainly makes sense as to why the head fell off. Sure.
It is that struggle that is the affliction of creation. I would like to thank Mr. Eusebio for allowing me the opportunity to discover and create alongside my esteemed colleagues at Projexus. Thank you.
It feels like she said a whole lot of nothing. Like, I don't feel like I understand the story more with her speech or anything.
An archaeologist? It's a bit archaic, isn't it?
She's well studied, Jerry, but if you want to question her credentials, be my guest.
That's not what I was saying. It's just an unusual area of expertise to pair with biology.
Well, Dr. Rodell, from my understanding, is an unusual woman.
It's unusual for a woman to be an archaeologist? Is that what he was trying to say? I don't know about that. I think women are pretty good at digging up stuff from the past. Okay, I'll stop.
Don't be threatened, Jerry. She's on our side. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Photo?
She's really fucking tall, huh? Gotta say, I'm not a fan of these glowing blue contacts that they have on her is like jarring enough, but then the way that her head was moving, it really did like just feel like a robot for a second there. Is that what it's supposed to be? Oh, she's a robot. Confirmed, that's my fan theory.
You took that like a chump.
Were you trying to knock me out?
No, it was meant to be a death blow.
Okay.
You took that like a chump.
So, villain, is that the angle that we're going with here? Archaeologist by day, villain by also day, or actually the archaeologist by night, villain by cloudy day. All right. There's something at the end too, right? This just like
Is here.
okay, so that's just a pose. What about this guy? Whatever happened to him? we see him like a little bit in the beginning and then that's it. We hear this like speech that barely has to do with anything and then he's like, I'm gonna break this girl's neck because she screamed and a glowy thing went into the sky. There could be a little bit better directing done as far as the live action trailer goes. Like, I don't think that the production value was as bad as like a lot of YouTube series type stuff out there for sure. But I can't say that it sold me on the series. I kind of got nothing from it. If, you know, kind of just like hitting a wall. I don't really have much of a reaction. Dietblo. Yeah. The accent is pretty in your face. if it was meant to be a death blow, why is she still alive? Because the other girl is, like, strong or something. She screamed and, like, the glowy stuff went into the sky. So that means she's also a superhero. So I guess she's resilient to the death blow. She's meant to be an anti-hero. Yeah, you can certainly make an anti-hero work. You could have done much better with it, right? Yeah, I don't know. It is a teaser trailer for the comic and not a show. Oh, no, I know. No, I understand. I'm just saying, it didn't really sell me on it. It's the accent really is a problem. It really is. I can only understand, like, every other word. It feels like I have to spend energy translating in my head what she was actually saying. And some of the things that she's saying in the trailer are just not important. So, I'm not going to say that my trailers are any better. My trailers, are just kind of whatever I can whip up at the time. So, I get it. It's difficult, for sure. But it's not as horrible as I thought it would be, considering people trashing on it, right? If the trailer doesn't sell you, the comic art looks great. There's panels where she puts in way too many lines for drawings. It's irritating to look at. Way too many lines for drawings. Your voice acted into... Oh, Horizon Quest was good? Yeah, that's kind of like a half trailer. It's really just like a comic dub we did to remind people that it exists. But once again, that's just something that we kind of just whipped up. I think the Horizon Quest trailer for Indiegogo was probably as good as a trailer could have been for those Indiegogo campaigns. I wish that, I honestly wish that the Reaper trailer turned out better than it was. I just didn't have enough time to really work on it, is the issue. Granted, there's voice acting in the Reaper trailer as well. It's just... It's just not really quite what I wanted it to be. But I'll probably do another trailer in the future. Try to fix up something a little extra fancy smancy. Maybe during like the website release when like all the work on the actual comic is done. Because right now I still have like 20 or so pages left to do. And I didn't do anything so far today because my mind was completely occupied with something else. Which is always a pain in the ass. So, there's that. On the backlogs, me and Adam have also been looking into video game making. And that could be something fun for the future. Of course, more time-consuming projects. Probably not the smartest thing for me to be starting right now, of course. But there are certainly opportunities to do video games. Just, what Adam wants to do, I know for sure, is he wanted to do an RPG-like game. It sounds like maybe what he was thinking of is something like a visual novel mixed with maybe turn-based combat. Or maybe a top-down, who knows. But me, on the other hand, I got some ideas for dating sims, of course, because I love romance. That is a thing. That is a thing about me. Obviously, I have a romance comic in the backlog as well. So, whichever comes out first, you're free to enjoy. And I'd like to do one of those platformer Souls-like games, although I'm sure that's a lot of work. That's a couple-year project right there, and you have to really be dedicated to it to keep up with it. The Reaper trailer still told the story, which makes it effective even if it didn't turn out how you wanted. Fair enough. Thank you. It's the easy story to tell because it's the prelude to the comic. You know, same thing with the poster. Like, this is pre when the comic takes place, but it's about that area. It's about that castle, you know? So it kind of adds a bit of a curiosity in your head, like, ooh, what's in that castle? What's going on there? And same thing, kind of same thing with the trailer. You know of this castle. You know that a knight went there to, like, destroy the evil that was in the castle. And it all started with that sword. But the knight failed. And now our main character has to try to do what the great knight could not. And that's kind of just the prelude into the comic series. So, hopefully that came off well in the trailer, even if it's not the most fancy-smancy looking thing. At one point I was like, ooh, what if I did like an animated trailer, but just didn't have any time. It takes so much time to get like an animated thing worked out. It's also a lot of money, of course, but yeah, I think I spent enough money on the Reaper campaign at this point. So, oh, Mark, thanks for the 20. I'm a developer, I could help with the game? That's cool. I didn't know that. I mean, I guess you don't tune into the Game Fan streams, at least not that I saw of, but if you want, pop in on the Gilded server. I would be down. Of course, you know, I'm thinking like far in the future because I do have to finish the comic. And there are other comics that I have to finish. I have to redo a lot of work on Sonic City Witch. Because of the hard drive. The hard drive failure! Still suffering from the effects of that. And then I have to help with these other comics that I'm publishing, of course. Editing those, figuring out, you know, stuff to do with all that nonsense. But at some point, I will have more time to, like, finish up stuff and then maybe play around with some game ideas and stuff like that. Even a side-scroller like Castlevania would be neat. Oh, hell yeah. For sure. Yeah, I'm super into stuff like that. And, you know, I can toss around a lot of different ideas and sketch some designs. I know I have, like, Pixel Game Maker MV, right? And Adam has RPG Maker MV, all the MV stuff, right? So it's very possible to, like, put it all together. It's just time consuming. That's the main thing, and unfortunately, I have to sleep at night. But imagine if I didn't have to sleep, the world would just open up with so many opportunities. I can tell you that much. How's your indie comic going? Hope you're making progress. Little bit by little bit, just a little bit of progress at a time. It is, of course, a flexible goal, but I do hope that we hit the goal within the 17 days that we have left of the campaign. I do hope. But, you know, a day passes and we usually get another backer. So it's really just a matter of trying to keep the ball rolling and keep reminding people that it does in fact exist. Because a lot of people forget that it does in fact exist. In fact, I should send out another round of emails at some point to remind people. What other comics are in the pipeline if you can sum up some plots quickly? Well, I can't sum up the plots. if I sum up the plots, then that's kind of like hammering it in, right? Unless you're talking about like, because I'm not gonna just be spilling out plots of comics that I have in the backlogs that might not even be published. Some of them might not even be made. Right now, a lot of them are just ideas, stuff that I have sketches for, sometimes an outline for, you know. But I do have comics that have been announced that are listed on Burning Star Comics. Those I can actually talk about because they've already been announced. I can't talk about the ones that have not been, because they might not end up actually being a thing, right? So there's the Way Long Back series, right? That should have the 3rd issue out April 6th coming up. If I can, in fact, do that now. I didn't, it's funny because we found out that the eclipse was going to be happening. And then we ended up making plans for that, and I just completely overlapped those two things on top of each other without even realizing it. So I'm going to have to figure out what the heck's going on there. I mean, I guess I'll have to be taking my laptop with me and trying to find a place with good Wi-Fi so I can get it uploaded. But for the most part, issue 3 is already completed. We're just waiting for the official release and going over to make sure that it doesn't have anything wrong with it. We have Reaper Book 1, of course, which is campaigning now. The Sonic City Witch full graphic novel. That's the comic that I have to finish. It's taken way too long to finish, unfortunately, and it is my fault. It is definitely my fault. But hopefully once that's out of the way, it'll just be this huge weight off my chest, because like I mentioned before, I have difficulty being productive when there's always something weighing on my mind. And Sonic City Witch has kind of turned out to be that thing. This thing that's just never finished, you know? So we'll have the full graphic novel out. I was going to do an Indiegogo campaign for that. But, you know, fuck me. Indiegogo is not being very kind to me on the Reaper campaign. So I think I will not do Indiegogo again. Maybe we'll have pre-orders available on the website instead. Or maybe I'll go to Kickstarter. But yeah, not doing Indiegogo. Then we have Searchers. That's another new comic coming to the website towards the end of the year. And Crazy Cop Yuziki issue 2, which I know some people were interested in seeing a second issue of. It's been a pretty long time since the first issue of that came out. So if you have been waiting for that to come out, you know, hopefully that interests you, you know. The continuation, finally! Woo! But yeah, so that's some of the stuff coming out this year. Hey, thanks for another 20, Mark. I'm into the game engine stuff. You do art, and we can make web, mobile, or desktop. Yeah, the art is the most intense portion of the... I mean, granted, you know, the coding part, that's a lot of the... it's a lot of the tedious, repetitive type stuff. But yeah, that's the thing that scares me about it, is the fact that there's so much art that needs to be done for a game. Especially the types of games that I want to make. But the dating sims have been fairly easy. I'm basically halfway through creating one. I just kind of have to finish the story and then, you know, edit as you do. But that is definitely something that could come out sooner than a lot of other things. If I was going to do the platformer Souls-like game, that's going to be years. That's going to be a really long time until I can actually get that all together. Even with other people's help, I'm sure that'll be a really long time in the making. And yeah, also when you're working with someone, you gotta really make sure that they're not flaky. Especially You know what I mean, though, right? Like, if I were to tell somebody else, you know, do all the coding, I'll send you all the art, and then one day they just stop responding to me and I never hear from them again. And it's not like they sent me the file so that I can continue doing the work or anything. I just don't have any of the files for the actual game coding part of the whole thing. So either all the work that you did was for nothing, or you have to start coding it yourself from scratch. That's, like, horrifying. Adam himself has worked with a lot of flaky people. I've worked with flaky people. It's the worst thing in the world. People that just disappear, and then they come back, and they're like, oh, sorry, let's work on this other thing. I won't disappear again. And then they disappear again. It's terrible. Don't want to do that. If I work with people, I want them to be very serious about it. And, you know, sometimes the way to just do that is to make sure you're paying them, of course. Make sure that they get their payment up front to encourage them. But then, of course, there's always the other terrifying thing of, what if they just take the money and run? But yes, flakiness. That's the main thing you have to... Everybody worries about copyright or somebody stealing their ideas. That's not the main thing that you need to worry about when you're starting a project. The main thing you need to worry about is people just disappearing in the middle of the project. That's the real worry. Part of the reason why a lot of the stuff that I have done, a lot of the comics that I have done, have been solely just me doing most of, if not all, the work. Or, like, balancing the work between me and Adam, because he can't disappear on me. We are attached at the hip. So, he's not going anywhere, you know? Or at the very least, he'll give me a reason for not wanting to work on it anymore. And that's much, much better than just disappearing and not saying anything. It's, yeah. But yeah, so Reaper, for example, all the work, all the writing, all the art, well, you know, except for the commissioned art, such as the poster, all that is being done by me. All me. Meh, meh, meh. And Adam has been helping with the editing. Obviously, I will also have some beta readers to see what they think. If I can fix up this to polish it up and make it a good intro into a series, that's all good. That'll be fantastic. But naturally, anything that you do that's really long like this, it's going to take a really long time to finish. And motivation. Motivation is always a problem, especially when you have not reached the goal yet. And you're not really sure, is this going to be a successful series? Am I actually going to be able to get the word out there if I'm already having so much trouble getting the word out on Indiegogo or on YouTube, on some other social media platforms that I post to? You know, it's difficult. Very difficult. But, you know, you take things one step at a time. And even the dating sims I've been working on, it's kind of the same story where I'm just doing all the art and the writing and stuff. There's like some copyright-free stuff that you can utilize in some areas. So, dating sims and visual novels are probably the easiest of the bunch to do as far as video game creation is. Which is part of why it's the first thing that I want to do before just diving into creating video games. And you know, Adam can help with writing and editing and all that stuff. Love to Draw was telling me about Jello Apocalypse came out with some sort of visual novel, and apparently there was a typo in every sentence. Which I find very hilarious, but luckily I have Adam. He is very good with the editing and reading over stuff, and like I said, you always got to get those beta readers or beta testers in the case of video games, of course. You always got to make sure you're getting other opinions and other eyes on something so they can catch mistakes that you might be blind to, because everyone's kind of blind to something. I'm almost legally blind, but what is your favorite game on computer? Without sounding like too much of a normie, I really like Souls-like games, which is, you know, part of the reason why I say I'd be interested in creating like a platformer Souls-like. I know that it's something that you can make in Pixel Game Maker, and I like Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight is fun, and if I could create something kinda similar, maybe that would be ideal. Who knows? Thanks again, Mark Schaefer. Private GitHub repo for code you have access to and whatever contracts it becomes a reality. I don't know. Hang on, let me translate this in my brain. Private GitHub repo for code? Okay, so you do coding that you be uploading on a private GitHub, gotcha, that I have access to, and we would sign a contract to make sure of flakiness. I gotcha. Sorry, something about how the sentence was structured, I was like, what does that say? Like I said, you need beta readers. Oh, that wasn't me? Oh, fuck. I thought that was you. Sorry. It was someone on the Games Fan stream for sure. It was someone on the Game Fan stream. You're always there, so I just assume everything is you. Yeah, Chill Apocalypse spelling. Yeah. Oh yeah, Hollow Knight. Yep, you know how it is. If you make a Reaper dating sim, could I romance the chick with the knockers from Horizon Quest? You know, it wouldn't be a bad idea to do like a Horizon Quest adventure game or something like that. What is Hollow Knight about? Oh my goodness. I have to link you to some VaatiVidya lore documentary on Hollow Knight to give you the rundown. Everything is bugs. That's the first part that you need to understand. Everything in Hollow Knight is bugs. And some of them were like created to be soldiers or something. And then there's like a king and stuff, you know? And I can't say that I play Hollow Knight for the story. You know? Can't really say that with a straight face. I don't really 100% get what they were going for. It's kind of like the whole Dark Souls thing, right? Where everything's just up to your interpretation. Ooh, look at all the lore bits and piece together what it's supposed to mean. But good atmosphere, and beautiful animation in Hollow Knight. Probably not something that I could duplicate, given that I don't really have much experience in animation, but I do love animation. I love it. I can draw a comic that's kind of close. You heard about a new game that is calling itself Souls-like and you are a crab? No, I don't think so. What is that, some sort of crab simulator game? I don't know. Everything in Hollow Knight is bugs. Yes, thank you. Imagine Metrovania, but with bugs, darkness, and a bit of Soulsborne. I need to finish that game at some point. I finished the game, but I didn't finish it on, like, the true ending, you know? And I didn't finish the DLC. But in order to get the true ending, you need to go through, like, the fucking platforming puzzle hell. And I just never... If I'm gonna spend hours and hours doing something over and over again until I succeed, I don't want it to be platforming. You know what I mean? I'd rather spend hours and hours doing a boss fight, but not platforming. That's not fun. I like the boss fights. Don't like the platforming. I'm not a fan. It's no good. Oh, we're already kind of out of time, guys, because the hour is up. And I know I started 30 minutes earlier than usual. Sorry. But regardless, it has been an hour. I have fulfilled my duty by being present for a Friday with Dannphan. So we're gonna wrap this up and maybe, pick it up on a future Game Fan stream if you ever tune into those. Or, if it's tune into the future videos. I should have did a video today while my mind was occupied and I couldn't do comic work. I should have did a video. It's too late now. But, yes. So, I'll go over it again. Reaper Book 1 is funding on Indiegogo. You might not be able to find it if you're just searching through the comic section. So just know that you'll have to either use a direct link or search for it on the search function. Otherwise, it won't actually pop up. Unfortunately, right? But I do want you to check out this comic if you have not already. I do have a free preview that's up on Burning Star Comics. It's in the 2024 previews PDF, which is free to download. Even though it appears on the store page, it's $0.00. So it is free for you to just take. And you can check out a little preview that I have of Reaper Book 1. Obviously, the art is going to go through sections of editing and improvement down the line, but right now this is kind of the quality that you can expect. Not to downplay myself. I don't think my art is terrible, but definitely have room to grow in the future. And that's not a bad thing. Not a bad thing to recognize that, at least. I do hope that most people out there will want to give this comic a chance, because it's one that I would like to make my series, as in the series that I'm known for. I'd like it to be this as opposed to something else, because I really enjoy writing and drawing it. And not everything I enjoy as much as I do this. How do I find your Game Fan channel? I'm wanting to watch your Elden Ring stream, the Ichabod build. Yeah, so in the description, it should have a link for the Game Fans. Also on the main channel, under related channels, I have Game Fans there. But yeah, I did do an Elden Ring Ichabod build, and Ichabod's the main character in this. I did a build for him, and it's a dagger build, which is very difficult. And kind of the joke is every single one of those streams is called Dannphan Plays Terrible Build in Elden Ring, because it's just him doing the dual daggers. Man. But yes, once Book 1 comes out, you can see what the sword is capable of doing, and then we can switch what weapon he uses. Because God knows, the daggers are very difficult to use in Elden Ring. But yeah, go ahead and check out those streams if you enjoy that. I haven't been able to continue doing that Elden Ring build series, not because I don't love doing it, or even because I hate the dagger build necessarily. I haven't been able to continue it because my computer keeps on shutting off midstream, and we're not 100% sure why. The ongoing theory is that it's a power supply problem, and that it's just requiring too much power to stream the game. The other theory is that maybe one of the fans isn't working, maybe it's overheating for some reason. I think it's more likely probably a power supply problem. But it's difficult to change out the power supply. Yeah, maybe it's a fan with a pH. Yeah, there you go. It's more difficult to change out the power supply. So it would be an easier problem if it was an overheating problem, but I think it's probably not. Based on like being next to the computer, sometimes it's just, it shuts off and it's not really hot at all, you know? But yes, go ahead and check out those streams if you're interested in them. At some point, I'd love to get back to doing that Elden Ring build, because I love playing Elden Ring. Fucking duh. I said that I loved Souls-like games. Of course I love playing Elden Ring. But, yeah, so happy Good Friday to all of you. I'll have more videos out sometime soon next week. And yeah, let's do our best to keep on promoting the campaign, guys. Try to hit that goal best we can to get another W for all the indie comic creators out there who need it. Who really need that W. Help me. Okay. For now, I'm going to say goodnight. Have a wonderful rest of your Friday. Mark, if you want to get in contact with us on like on Guilded or something, or I have an email, you know, private messaging, you know, whatever you want to do. I'm not looking for something to do immediately, but I'm not like against any collaboration or anything. Thanks for the super sticker. Alright guys, see you next time. Until then,